Why does it make things manifest like that? Why does it change things so drastically?
There's different reasons for it. It's as an alignment, it's like a generator.
Mm.
You know, it's what I've intuitively perceived in doing it is that, well, it's doing different things. It's taking a micro into a macro is one thing. Doing this alignment, I have literally felt myself become just a single atom, but like an atom that's this big, a single atom, rather than all these different individual atoms. You know, I felt my energy become that. And so that's just such a magnification that whenever you put that type of magnification into a focused intent, once you have directed it like that, and then you allow and invite in the universe into that magnification, it expedites it. It makes it just like it was happened yesterday.
Wow.
On other scales, as an alignment, it's also becoming aligned and awakened to everything else being aligned and awakened. Yeah. So there is just this awareness that happens from taking this specific breath and breathing a certain way and feeling a certain rhythm of our molecules, that then when we share space with the chair, with other people around us, we then feel their rhythm and share space with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then just by sharing that space, the objects and the people around us start to become aligned as well, and
Wow.
in a certain harmonious rhythm. And so there's a real harmony that starts to happen with the work. And in a way, that is actually one of the applications of the DNA 3 class, that, you know, by reaching out and holding someone's hand, they're also giving permission by reaching out and holding yours, that their free will is also involved in this. But then you're sharing space, so it becomes a group free will, it becomes a different consciousness. Rather than the structural form of the DNA 2 classes of going, can I do a reading on your body, and can we change this belief? It's just sharing space and allowing for even beliefs and ailments and whatever it is to then just be experiential and be as energy and naturally just shift.
I've kind of heard that now, like now that you're putting together with the DNA 3 information, that people have experienced with Diana having a conversation, just talking, and things changing. So would you say that it's this dynamic of the DNA 3 information of this type of alignment that allows kind of our sharing space to just evolve in that way, that it can be as simple as something like that?
Yes, it is awakening to a natural rhythm of it, that, you know, we are all in our process of growth, and if you have taken Theta Healing classes, you know, you'll find that you start off with this very structured, beautifully structured form, and it has every detail you could possibly need to adopt this routine and pattern and learn it as a routine and pattern.
Right.
And then as you take the other classes, and I mean, there's so much material and information even in just that basic class.
Oh my gosh.
Basic Theta Healing
Yes.
class. I mean, we actually just co-taught one, and it is just immense how much information is in that. As you grow your awareness and cellular memory of any routine, it becomes instinct and it becomes natural in your rhythm. You will, with time, adopt it.
Right.
You know, the first time I really experienced that was actually in learning martial arts. You know, I did this certain martial arts form, and after a certain number of years and got to a certain degree, instead of just learning these forms, you know, these katas, you actually learn the counter ones to balance them, and then it became like a dance. And then when we would spar, it literally became just a dance, and it wasn't even about this block or this punch or this movement. It was just a flow of energy between the two people. And then the next stage was actually to let go of the structured form and allow for it to be a flow of energy, even more of a dance, so that because the structure, the form just stagnated it and slowed it down. And so in this, it's really, once you start to have confidence and allow for Creator to take more and more of the role of transformation and shifting of whatever it is that the intention is for, you'll find that you just connect with Creator and set an intent and witness it happening. It's not even about commanding this specific thing or that. And then once you really start to get into this other scale of routine with it, it does just become atmospheric. Like what you were saying with Vienna, where things just shift just by sitting with her and having a conversation. Because you are in this atmosphere of transformation. Yeah. And that's really where the growth is with this, is just to have this omnipresence of transformation, of all things being that energy and fabric of love and light and vibration, and really allowing for it to get into just those foundational pieces.
Right. So I guess I have two ending questions. The first one, I guess, is more about, again, I guess I'm coming back to the validation. Knowing, you know, when do you lose the structure? When is it, this is going to sound like a silly question, when is it appropriate to lose the structure, but when do you know that it's actually, you know, working? Because I think some people kind of don't know, you know, when is the structure working for me and when is it limiting me? And then the final question is kind of along the same lines of when do people know that they're ready for a DNA 3 class?
What I have told my students with just some of the most basic structural forms of, like, imagining going up above your space in this ball of energy and going all the way up through all of these layers of energy and then connecting in with that Creator's energy of the 7th plane and wording a command, stuff like that. That whole form, what I have suggested to my students is stay with the form until the next step is already being perceived before you finish what you're doing. So if you're imagining going up, but then it's just sparkly, well then let go of the routine of having to go up. Just allow for it to happen as memory. And just know that you're there. And like with the command, stay with the structure of the form of the command, but if you are witnessing what you're going to command being done while you're still formulating the wording of the command, well, then you've already set the intention. You know, so you're already ahead of yourself. And that is actually the beautiful design of the subconscious, is it's meant to be ahead of ourselves. It's meant to perceive and anticipate and project and be a few steps ahead. You know, your mind is always busy and your cells are always preparing, as well as being present with the presence. And so if you find that your instincts are already ahead of yourself, start to loosen around the structure, because creator is not critical.
Right.
You know, that need for structure and that criticalness is a different energy. And it's something that we become attached to, of having to muscle test each belief as we dig and stuff like that. In my sessions, I like to just be present with the person that I'm working with and have a conversation with someone as a unique divine spark of creator. You know, and I'm so used to identifying beliefs, and I know when there's something by listening to creator as I work with someone and listening to how they're saying things, and just through the process of having a conversation, that in order to dig and find those bottom beliefs, you'll know when you're at the bottom just by watching the person's energy. You know, you'll know when they're going deep, when they are feeling heavy, or if they're having emotion come up, or if they're feeling lost or starting to dissociate, or, you know, there's all these different signs of all these different triggers of when there is an issue. You may just feel it more atmospheric of all of a sudden everything feels intense or burdening or heavy around you, that you know that things are triggering up.
Yeah.
So, you know, the muscle testing is like for setting mile markers and stuff like that. But a lot of people, this isn't a truth, doing the muscle testing.
Mm.
It's controlled, and it can be controlled, and then it just adds another component that can be very helpful in a structured way and is wonderful. But as you do belief work, even at a certain stage in my intuitive anatomy classes, I have people do sessions where they sit on their hands. Because they're so focused on the fingers that they stop looking at the person. You know, you have to remember that you're sharing space with the person, that you hold the energy for that.
And sometimes, isn't it just important that the person wants to be seen and heard and given that place of being like recognized and validated by someone?
Totally. There can just be so much to it in that sense.
Well, I just know I've seen this with clients. I've experienced it myself. I've seen it when you've worked on people, that when you're able to intuitively, you know, it's not just intuitively, but when you see someone and you recognize their life and what they've gone through and are just completely present to them and completely validate them, and see their heart and see their spark and their soul, that I feel like changes people's lives. You know, that I see the emotion and the gratitude that comes from that as well.
Yeah.
So that being present.